Hello, this is Gail with Beaded Jewelry Diva, and today we are going to make a bracelet, and this is an AVA bead that we're going to be using today. This is a new 2-hole bead that Potomac Bead Company puts out. I will put a link to their site below, and I want to say a shout out to them for very graciously providing the beads today, and so I could play with them and show you how to do something with them. Okay, we are going to make this bracelet, and since I think that there's like 50 in a package, I had enough left over to make this bracelet. So gotta love it when you have enough beads to make more than one project. So we will show you, we'll be going ahead and doing the beads for this pattern today, and then I'm going to show you how to do the bracelet for this pattern. I will talk about some design considerations, what you might want to think about when you're choosing colors and everything for your beading bracelets. We'll also talk about sizes, how many beads that you're going to need for however size of a bracelet you have, and all kinds of fun stuff. Anyway, if you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my YouTube channel if you don't already do so. Meanwhile, let's see about making these bracelets. Okay, here's what we're going to need. You will need a pair of scissors. You will need a needle and thread. I'm using 6-pound Fireline. I'm using a size 11 needle. You could probably use a size 10, but I would suggest an 11 or 12. You'll need a stop bead, and the stop bead is just any bead that is not part of your work. You will need some size 8 seed beads. You'll need a clasp. I'm using a magnetic clasp. You will need 4 of the 5mm inside diameter jump rings, 18 gauge. You will need 2 3.5mm inside diameter 18 gauge jump rings. That'll be used in conjunction with the clasp. And a big shout out to Potomac Bead Company for graciously supplying these AVA. These are double-holed beads, and they're like 10 millimeters. But they sent me some to play with, so this is what I ended up doing with them. Okay, you've got the stop bead on your needle and thread, and so you'll just go ahead and sew it up through the point. Then I'm going to grab the next bead and put it on, slide it on down, and what I want it to do is kind of form the V part of the AVA. So I've got my A here, I've got my V here. Now I'm going to add 3 of the 8mm seed beads, and I'm going to put it through the other end of the V. And trying not to get it stuck in the thread. And by the way, I've got roughly a 6-inch tail, maybe a little bit longer. And I find that it's useful in this particular project to have a little bit of a longer tail than maybe you're used to, because you may end up needing it at the end. Okay, so I've got these on. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and do another A. So in other words, I'm going to be going up through the point of this next one. So it is going to end up looking like this. So next one is going to be one of my V's. So I've got it going through the tip of my V. So I've got it all flopping around, but I've got it looking like this, and again I'm going to be taking 3 of the 8mm beads and going through the other side of the V. Now I'm going to do this for a few more times. I will join you back when it's time to turn the corner. So you see I've got my short length here. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to pick up 5 seed beads because I'm going to turn the corner. So I've got the 5 size 8 seed beads, slide them on down, and you can see that I'm coming out of this hole, this top hole, and I'm going to go ahead and slide this through the bottom set of holes and pull tight. So that's going to form the loop for my clasp. Now you could just go ahead and do a direct attachment of your clasp if you wanted to here, and instead of having the jump rings and everything like that. I prefer to have a loop on the end like this, mainly because if I want to change out my clasps, I can. Yeah, well, you know, what can I say? I change my mind sometimes. So, okay, I've got it coming out of here, and you can see that now this is going to perfectly fit for me to put my needle through the top of this next one and pull it. And you can see how it's starting to go ahead and get a little bit more stable. So I'm picking up 3 more size 8 seed beads, putting them through the hole on the other side, and sliding through. Now the next one, and you really should kind of keep this as tight as you can, but knowing that it's not always going to cooperate with you, but just go ahead and keep it as tight as you can so you don't get things looped around each other or anything like that. Okay, so I'm coming out of one of these beads, so I'm going to go through the top of the point of the next one, and I'm going to continue on down. I'm back to where I started, so now I'm going to go ahead and I've got my 5 extra seed beads. That is going to form the other end of my clasp. Here's my original stop bead that I'm going to go ahead and get rid of for right now. And I'm going to take my needle with the 5 seed beads on it, and I'm going to go ahead and go through this, and then I'm going to go through the next set of beads. You can see that right now I have a whole lot of thread showing. I'm going to pull this end of it. This was the end that I had my stop bead on, so I'm pulling it. The thing is with this, once you wear it for a little while, the beads are going to stretch apart a little bit. The thread stretches, even Fireline will stretch, believe it or not. So what I want to do is I want to go ahead and go around this whole thing again. So I'm just going to trace my thread path all the way through, and then I'm going to do something a little bit extra on the ends. So what I'll do now is I'll go ahead and retrace myself all the way to this end, and then I'm going to show you what I do on this end to extra secure the clasp area. I'm coming around the corner again, so I've gone through this a second time on this side. Now I've come to this corner, and what I'm going to do is just go through the 5 beads just like normal, and then here's where I do something a little bit different. So I'm through the beads, the seed beads. I'm going to go through this bead, so on the point of the A or point of the V or whatever you want to call it, and then I'm just going to go ahead and put my thread up, and I'm going to go back around. Now you are not going to see this thread. It is really going to disappear. You can just barely see it in there. When you're wearing it, you are not going to see this. But what's going to happen is you're going to be able to go around 1 or 2 more times, and this will strengthen the clasp area, because as we know, the beads on the clasp area get the most wear and tear. Now that I've gone around this, I'm going to go back through on this end, and when I come to this other end over here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take it and I'm going to use it to strengthen the clasp. Something I almost forgot to mention. One way to get the middle bead of this, sometimes it can kind of lay flat and like that, and sometimes it's a little bit more perky. Well, to keep it perky, what I do is I'm coming out of the first seed bead. I'm going to go through the next 2 and the next, just the next 2, I think. And now through this one too. So once I do that, I'm going to put my needle just a little ways into this, and I'm going to pull the thread, and this forces the bead to pop up a little bit. I'm kind of running out of thread, so I thought I'd show you how to tie off with the first thread. So I'm coming out of this silver bead right here, and I'm just going to go ahead and go under and between the silver and the first purple seed bead. And I'm just going to go ahead and do a half hitch. Then what I'll do is I'll go through 2 seed beads, do another half hitch between the second and the third. So you're just doing a little loop, pulling tight. And I will do this for the next several times. I'll just go ahead and add some half hitches here and there. This end, thread it onto my needle, and I'm going to do that deal where I'm going to go around several times to go ahead and strengthen up this particular end of the clasp. Then we'll go ahead and see how to actually put on the clasp. Now it's clasp time. So what I've done is I have opened almost all of my jump rings. I'll just open this last one in case you need a refresher on how to open jump rings. So like this, not out to the side. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the open jump rings, and these are the big 5mm, and I'm going to put them on. So again, good jump ring etiquette to go ahead and put them on nice and tight, and you shouldn't be able to tell very easily where your jump ring, you know, has the clasp or has the edge. Mine is right there, so, and you can barely see it. That's the way you really want to put on these jump rings. So let me get the rest of the jump rings on, and then we'll put on the clasp. As you can see, I've got 2 jump rings through this, and you may be wondering why I use 2 jump rings. A couple of reasons. One is it's a design element, and 2, if for some reason one of these jump rings didn't close as securely as I had wished, the other one will still hold, and you won't lose your bracelet, and when you get home you can go ahead and make the fix. Anyway, so those are the 2 5mm, and then here's the 3.5mm jump ring. And I've already attached it at the other end, so now all I have to do is slide my jump ring through the loop on the clasp, and then just close the jump ring. For this particular pattern, in addition to the needle, thread, etc., etc., you will need some size 11 seed beads. You will need some Swarovski 4mm bicones. I've chosen to use 2 different colors. One is a double AB and one's a single AB. Then you will need your AVA beads. Now I've gone ahead and gotten started, so let me show you the pattern as it is right now, and then I'll go through it one time with you. So the pattern is, starting at the beginning, I have a black seed bead, the bicone, and then another black seed bead. Then I've got a black seed bead between these 2, between the V and the A. Then I've got a bicone between this A and this V, and then a seed bead, a bicone, and a seed bead. So with this pattern, next I will pick up a seed bead, and then I'll pick up one of my AVAs, and let's see, I need it to go down. So I'm putting it through the point of the A or V or whatever you want to call it. So I've got it looking like this, and now I'm going to pick up a bicone, slide it on down, pick up the V side of the next bead, and try not to get everything all tangled, which for me is pretty much impossible. So I've got it looking like this. Then it is the seed bead again, the bicone, and the seed bead. Now you don't have to use 2 different colors of bicones. You could just use 1 color. It's funny. The way I decided to do 2 different colors is when I was originally doing this, the first iteration of the bracelet, I didn't have enough bicones of any one color, and so I went ahead and used 2 different colors because that way I knew I would have enough. So I turned the corner, and in turning the corner I put on 7 of the size 11 seed beads, and then of course I went around through it a few times. Now let's take a look at this. On this one, I have a bicone between these two beads. So when I'm going back, I want to put a size 11 seed bead between these two. Whoopsie daisy. It does help if I hang on to the needle, I think. So it's going to look like that. Then I'm going to do the normal seed bead bicone seed bead through this one. And then on this side, you see I just have a seed bead here. So that means I get to pick up one of the bicones. And that is how you're going to go ahead and continue this. I will go ahead and finish this just so you can see another little strand of this, and then we'll talk about other design options. Now we're going to talk about design considerations and also sizing. First of all, design considerations, and obviously you can do whatever it is that you like to do, but here's how I tend to work. You'll notice that this finish, which is called Full Labrador, is a bright shiny silver, and my seed beads are a dark purple matte. So what I like to do is I like to provide contrast, and in this case the contrast is between the lightness of the silver and the darkness of the purple, as well as the shininess of the silver against the matte of the purple. So it gives it a nice contrast, both for color and finish. In this particular set, I didn't have as much of a contrast because I have the lightness of the silver, and then my beads are kind of light too, so that they're kind of a light green, but the black will give you an idea of how the design slinks, I guess, for lack of a better term. So that's what happened in this one. Now you can see in the version for the bracelet that I've been wearing, there's a little bit more of a difference because we've got the bright shiny red color of the copper, and then you've got the green of the bicones, and that provides a little bit more contrast. And then of course you've still got the black, and the black is matte. And in this particular case, you can also see the contrast very well. You've got the red kind of look of the copper, as well as the green for the seed beads. And again, the seed beads are matte. So that's what I like to do. I like to provide contrast in finish and contrast in color whenever possible. All right, let's talk about sizing now. For this particular bracelet, it takes, let me see, 4 beads. 4 of the AVA beads are about 1.25 inches. So if you take 1, 2, 3, 4, that is roughly 1.25 inches. So take whatever it is you have for your bracelet. Say, for example, if you want a 6.5 inch from bead to bead, not counting the clasp, if you want 6.5 inches, that's going to be about 21 of the AVA beads. For this one, there are fewer of the AVA beads. For 6.5 inches, you'd be looking at about 18 AVA beads. So this one uses a few less than this one. All right, well, I hope you've enjoyed this particular project. 2 different kinds of bracelets, and they're a lot of fun to make, and actually they're very quick to make. That's also part of the fun of it. I'm actually going to have to run out and buy some of these now because I'm having so much fun with them. But it's just, you know, get some stuff and play and find out what you like to do and come up with your own designs as well. I hope you've enjoyed this. Like I said, if you don't already subscribe to my YouTube channel, I hope you do so. Come over and see me at beadedjewelrydiva.com. Love to see you there. Give it a thumbs up if you've enjoyed it. I'll be able to get that out sooner or later. Anyway, see you later. Goodbye and have a beautiful day. Bye.